Hello, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm just making sure everyone can see our screen here. This is the first year semester abroad presentation. Like we have a few more people popping in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And as you think of questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A section of the event, and we'll answer those. I'll try to answer them either as I go or at the end of the presentation. I am going to go ahead and get started. Again, this is the first year semester abroad presentation for preview. My name is Carrie White. I'm the Associate Director for Learning Communities at Georgia Tech, and I'm excited to talk to you about our first year semester abroad program. This year was our very first year for first year semester abroad, and we had almost 50 students who went to Georgia Tech Lorraine for their fall semester. And we're really excited to offer this opportunity again next year and even add a program. Next slide. So I'll tell you a little bit about the program and as much information as we have about each one right now at this very minute. But I also wanted to share with you the mission and some of the goals of the program. So, we really do want Georgia Tech students to leverage all of the opportunities that Georgia Tech has to offer, and that's not just here in Atlanta, but all over the world. And so we have several campuses internationally, and Georgia Tech Lorraine is one of those campuses. And then we partner with universities in Oxford for our Georgia Tech students to attend as well. And so this year, in fall 2022, students will be able to apply for our first year semester abroad program at GTL and also at Oxford. Next slide, Katie. And so we do have some goals for the program that we're really interested in, making sure our students meet these goals, and it's important to us that students have these opportunities. But we really want students to be able to get really immersed in this international experience, as well as, meet other people and be around folks who are different from them in a safe and structured way. So it's an interesting and unique environment for our students to be able to go to Europe and experience the world through this unique lens. It also gives students an opportunity to travel and experience learning in a very different way than what they will experience in the fall at Atlanta.
I found this on the web.
We have two faculty directors for our first year semester abroad programs. Dr. Vicki Birchfield is our director for GTL, and Dr. Carol Moore is our director for Oxford. And these women are really fantastic and knowledgeable and experienced in both the two programs that they're directing, as well as Georgia Tech, and they're very passionate about this experience. Next slide. So like I said, we have two tracks. We have a campus in Metz, France. That's Georgia Tech Lorraine, and that is our first track. We have, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, we have just almost 50 students, just over 45 students who are attending this semester in Metz and really enjoying their experience. It's been really exciting for those students, for the faculty, for the staff who are working that program, to start something new and for them to be the inaugural class. So we're really excited to offer our second track next fall, and that's at Oxford, where students will live at one of the colleges of the University of Oxford and in England, and they'll also travel around continental Europe and do coursework. So students travel in both places, both France, and they get to travel quite a bit around Europe. Next slide. So we want to make sure that you know your eligibility and requirements and what's required of you if you'd like to participate in these programs. So students are required to be a first-year student and 18 years old at the time of departure, which is typically the first week of August. All majors are welcome to apply, but we do make a note that College of Design students should check with their advisor because it does have an impact on that program specifically. And so if you're a College of Design student, you'll certainly want to get all the information you can and be well informed if you choose FYSA as an option for you. We do require students to have Calc 1 credit, and that's the Math 1551, in order to be eligible to go to either program. So what will you need to do? What are the requirements? You're going to need to apply, obviously, and I'll talk a little bit about when you can do that. And then you'll spend 3 weeks in the summer at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, and that's right before your program starts in August, so it'll be late July. You'll come to Atlanta and you'll take 3 credit hours, which is our GT 1000, our seminar course, where you get to know things about Georgia Tech and traditions around Georgia Tech and the resources at Georgia Tech. And then also you'll take your APPH, your health class, which is a 2 credit course. And so you'll take those full 3 credits in those 3 weeks, and then you'll head off for the fall to either Metz, France or Oxford. And you'll take English 1101 or 1102 in Europe at both programs. And then there are some other program class requirements depending on which program you choose. All of the classes are taught in English, both in France and in England. No language requirement for either program. And then you'll come back and do your spring in Atlanta. Next slide. So we do want to talk about the cost of the program and so that students understand that there are some additional costs associated with choosing first-year semester abroad. And so you'll want to really look closely at all of the specific details. I haven't put them here because still in our first fall of the program, and we have all of the pricing for this year for France, but we're still working on next year's complete fees and package, as well as things like tuition and housing costs and things like that haven't been published yet. But it will be very soon. So this is a guideline and just a sort of a general, you need to be thinking about all of the things that you'll be required to pay for if you participate in the program. And so you'll definitely be required to cover your cost of housing in Atlanta for those 3 weeks, your meals and your tuition, because you are taking 3 credit hours, and any associated costs with that, books, you know, just your standard, what you would pay at going to college, right? As well as travel to Atlanta or out of state or international coming in for this program to Atlanta. And then for the programs, GTL and Oxford, there is a program fee, and that covers your fall campus housing, so either in Oxford or at Lorraine, your travel, transportation, and lodging, which is on when you're actually traveling in Europe. So not your travel to Europe, but your actual travel around Europe. So the fee will cover your faculty-led excursions, essentially transportation and lodging, but not meals. And then your fall, you'll be required to cover your fall abroad tuition, your meals, your books, your passport, visa, your rail pass, all of the things that you would normally pay for when you're going to college, plus the international pieces, the getting your passport, getting the visa if you need one, and then meals when you're traveling around Europe and that sort of thing. You'll also need to cover the cost of your round trip flight to either France or England, and so you'll want to take that into consideration as well. And then, of course, coming back to Atlanta, tuition, housing, meals, books, again, all those things that you would normally be paying for wherever you are attending. And again, like I said, you'll really want to pay attention to the website and get all of the really fine details. We did have a question pop up about, can scholarships be applied to this? And they absolutely can. Tuition and housing, all of the things that scholarships cover typically will also cover for the program. So the program fees themselves, that's where you'll get into, you'll want to make sure that if you're applying for scholarships and you want the scholarships to cover those, that they do cover that type of expense. So one thing that's included is campus housing, either in Oxford or at Lorain. And so you'll want to, that is a cost of attendance and can be included in scholarships. So you'll just want to make sure that the scholarships you're using and applying for cover that type of, expense. So, for example, if you're getting Hope or Zell Miller, if you're a Georgia resident and you're getting the state funded, that's a tuition scholarship. And that's what it covers, is tuition, not housing. So it wouldn't cover your fee, but it would cover your tuition or in-state tuition. Next slide. And so, like I said, we are, really working hard to get all of the dates and deadlines published and posted so everybody knows exactly when they need to do everything. So what I can tell you now about dates and deadlines is that the application will open in January and that we will begin making invitations at some point in the following month, on a rolling basis. So we'll start inviting students to participate, and all of that will be done. You'll apply and you'll see all that information in the admission portal. So once you're admitted to Georgia Tech, you'll have this really beautiful portal where you'll be able to go in and do all the things that you still need to get done so that we can make sure you get enrolled fully, and all of the fees and deadlines and dates and everything will be posted there. And so you'll really want to pay attention to all of that. And like I said, keep an eye on the website. We're really finalizing some details now about dates and deadlines, as well as those program fees. So it's important for you to note that we have lots of opportunities for first-year students to get engaged and participate in a variety of different things. And so by choosing one thing, you often are not choosing another. So I just want to make sure that students understand that by selecting first-year semester abroad, you are not able to participate in Ignite or the Living Learning Communities that you start as a first-year student. So that's Green Challenges, the Honors Program, Explore, Impact, and Global Leadership. Those would not be eligible to participate because you would need to be in Atlanta to do those programs in the fall. And so for Ignite, you would, instead of Ignite, which is our summer program, you would actually be doing the first-year semester abroad 3-week program instead of Ignite. So you would not be eligible for that either. Excuse me. So I just want to make sure that students understand, you have choices. You have lots of choices, but that you will have to make a choice once you get invited to these things. The great thing is that you can apply for all of them. And then once you start receiving invitations, you can make decisions about what's best for you and what you really want to do. I think that you'll most importantly want to pay attention to those deadlines once they're posted, as far as getting your information in and making decisions about when you want to do things, because both Ignite and the first-year semester abroad are summer start programs, which requires some additional paperwork and financial aid documentation, that sort of thing, because you're actually starting the semester before everyone else in the fall. And so you'll have some additional documents that we'll want you to do. And so you'll just really want to pay attention to those things and what's being asked of you. And we have some really great checklists, and the admissions office and the counselors are going to be fantastic and help walk you through all of those pieces. All right. So those are my slides for you today, and I know that you will still have lots of questions, and I see a few of them popping up now, so I'm going to answer those, and please keep posting them, and I'll try my best to answer as much as I can. I wish we had all of the details ironed out this early. We are really, like I said, working on getting that. So the question is it possible to spend more than one semester at either GTL or GT at Oxford? Not as a part of the first year semester abroad program. So it is a one semester program, the fall only for next year. You can apply to study abroad later, again, in a different semester. I will say that as far as your coursework, it's the reason we often encourage students to only do one semester is it's really difficult sometimes to get all of the classes that you need because most of the courses that are going to be offered to you abroad are going to be mostly core classes. And so once you have finished that, you're going to need to be in Atlanta in order to get the classes that you need for your major. So it really does depend on your major and how many credits you bring in, and there's lots and lots of reasons why students may only do one. But for the purpose of actual this program, it's one semester and it's the fall for next year. So the question, do you get to choose which program to go to, GTL or Oxford? So you apply and you select your first choice, and then hopefully you would get invited to that first choice. You might only get one, you might get an invitation to your second choice, but you can definitely tell us your first choice. Are there other classes that you take besides English? Yes, of course. In the fall, when you go abroad, English is the required class. You have to take English 1101 or 1102 during the fall semester, but there will be other courses. You will take up to 14 credit hours during the fall semester abroad, either at Oxford or Georgia Tech Lorraine. And so you'll have some classes that you can choose from, and then, so you'll definitely take other classes besides English, but English is a required course. So I don't see any other questions, but I'm going to give it a few minutes. See if people have questions that they would like to ask. I am going to So the question is, if my birthday is in mid-August, would I not be eligible? That's correct. You want to keep checking back for the exact dates on when you're going to depart. But you do have to be 18 in order to and I know Oxford starts a little earlier than Georgia Tech Lorraine, than GTL. So it's possible, depending on how those dates fall, if it's early mid-August, you might be able to get in and do the GTL program. But Oxford, I know, starts a little bit earlier. So the question is, what is housing like when we come back? So when you come back to Atlanta, you will be able to stay together in first year housing on campus. So we will make sure that you have space. This year students are coming back and they are mostly living together. So you'll be able to apply for spring housing essentially and come back and live together. It's not required, but you'll have that availability. So the question is, how involved can we get when abroad if we're coming back after one semester, specifically in terms of sports? That's a question that I would not be able to answer very fully for you, but I definitely encourage you to email. If you check out the website, firstyearabroad.gotech.edu, you can certainly find information on that website, but also some contact information about the faculty directors and program directors who are actually at those schools, who can give you more information about how involved you might be able to get after just one semester in either France or Oxford. And I'm going to put the website as an answer to your question so that you can check that out. All right, any more questions? All right. Well, I'm not seeing any additional questions. Like I said before, please check out the website. Keep looking, keep checking, email questions to the contact information that you find there on the website. And good luck on your admission to Georgia Tech and those decisions. I know some folks will start getting those in the next month or so. So the question is, how many are you planning on sending next year? So programs are capped at 50 each, so 50 students for GTL and 50 students for Oxford. Great question. How quickly will those 50 spots be filled? Well, that's a good question. It's students, will start applying, like I said, in January, and we will start. It'll take us, at least probably. I would say we probably won't start sending out invitations until early March, or even mid-March, maybe. And then students often will wait to make a decision, because once we invite you, then you say yes or no to us and accept that invitation, just like for our living learning communities. And so sometimes students are waiting on, financial aid packages and things like that. So, you don't get that information until early April, which we totally understand, and you have that time to let us know. And so it takes a little bit of time to fill the programs. So I wouldn't, our experience has not been, we've only done this once so far, and it took us most of the, spring semester. It took us until May to get all of those students who wanted to come. And so I think that you should not feel pressured to make a decision right away and make the best decision that's right for you, knowing that the earlier you make your choices, the earlier you can start getting some of these other processes and things done. So, so a small amount of pressure, but not enough to make you feel like if you don't jump on it right away, you're going to miss out. The question is, if we attend GT at Oxford, would we be going to classes with other Oxford students or just other Georgia Tech students? You would be in classes with students at Oxford as well, just like at Georgia Tech Lorraine. Trickling in. All right, I'm going to give it 2 more minutes to get those questions in. All right, I did see another question pop in, and I also put another poll in the polls for you. If you could let me know if you live in Georgia or not. I'd love to know if you're a Georgia resident or if you're coming from somewhere else. The question is, does the calculus credit have to be obtained prior to acceptance, or is it involved in the 3-week program over the summer? It has to be, you have to have the credit in order to participate. So you won't take that in the 3-week program. The only 2 classes you'll take in that 3-week program are the 1 credit hour GT 1000 class and the 2 credit hour health class. So you will need to have that credit coming in, whether that's AP or IB or dual enrollment. So you'll want to check the admission website about what types of credit you can bring in with you that works for that specific class, the Calculus 1. It looks like we're headed towards mostly not Georgia residents at this point. Oh, there's a few more Georgia residents. For those of you not in Georgia, here in Atlanta, we've been celebrating our Atlanta Braves win tonight in the final game. So the city has been excited over the last few days. I think they're going to have some parades on Friday for the World Series. Oh yeah, looks like most of you are not from Georgia. All right. See, a couple more questions came in. The question is, in Georgia, 17 is an adult. Why are we required to be 18 to qualify for studying abroad? It's a Georgia Tech policy and a USG policy for students to be 18 to study abroad. And so this is actually the first time we've ever allowed students to study abroad as a first year student. So typically you have to have at least 2 semesters in order to qualify. But we started this program specifically for first year students, but you do have to be 18. Transfer PE credit be taken instead of the 3-week one? Unfortunately, no. We're really limited in the classes and the number of credit hours you can take in that 3-week period, and those are the only 2 classes that will be offered, and they are required. So you wouldn't be able to bring that credit in. Actually all of our students have to take health, so it's not a credit that you can actually transfer in anytime. It is one of the very few absolutely must take. All right, well, I'm not seeing any additional questions, so I'm going to end it here. You can check out the admission website where you registered for and learn more about how you can, and for this session, learn more about how you can view sessions that have been recorded and posted. And then, of course, like I said, because we still are getting our details on the website about these 2 programs, definitely want to keep checking back over the next few weeks and get all of those specific details. One last question. If you were to have credit for the English course as an Atlantic student, would that credit transfer to the abroad program? So if you have 1101 credit, then you would just take 1102. So yeah, if you transfer in 1101 for anything from AP or credit, then you would just take the 1102 class. If you already have 1102, that one's a little bit different, and that's usually only through dual enrollment. So you would just want to work with your program advisor and see if that's possible. The classes are important. The timing and the classes that you need and all of that are going to come into play. And so you're going to want to be really proactive in asking those questions as soon as you know that you really want to do this and that you're admitted into the program, working with the program staff to make sure, it's going to meet your needs. All right, friends, I'm going to end it here, and I hope that you all have a great night or day or whatever time it is where you are, and that you are able to get more information and other sessions and learn more about all of the opportunities that are available to you as a first-year student in Georgia. Night.